Hey Lee, where you at?
I am currently at the Continental Divide on Interstate 80, east of Evanston, 8 miles. We did 8 very, very, very tough miles. Um, we were on the top of the first sister. There are 3 mountains called the Sisters, and they're another 21 miles before I'm done with them. And it's going to take a little bit of climbing for us to get through them. I wish I could thought somehow or the other figure out what the elevation is because we climbed quite a bit. We climbed for 5 miles. Um, Tough climbing. There was a lot of stops. Let Big Boy just grab his breath and then kept going again. He did very good. Um, he did very well with all the traffic. Not bad for a horse that hasn't been driven in 4 months. I'm not really happy that I'm doing it this way. I thought that I was just going to be out on a level spot, not climbing mountains the very first time back at it, but he's handling it very well, and he's a true trooper. So we're camped, and I can't say I'm not going to say where I'm camping because it's not really legitimate. I had somebody at the morning um, pounding on the side of the wagon, telling me to get out of the fairgrounds, which was a bunch of shit. He was just some jackass. Um, I wasn't told by the management or anything like that. And so that kind of had me in a foul mood for a little bit. And then one of the locals came by and said, don't worry about him. Fuck him. And so I was driving, I got horse all hitched, and got going. And we were driving, and this is something that fucking drives me nuts. The cops come behind me and turn their siren on, even if it is for a second. When I've got the horse, you know, I just got a spot where I can be off the traffic, but if he veers, because of the siren, I'm dead. So that kind of annoyed me. And then he told me that it was illegal to go on there, and this guy was really nice. And I told him, no, it isn't. I know, and I told him how I was uh, on I-25 about 8 or 9, 10 years ago. I was escorted up an exit ramp, turned around going north, and then he got me across traffic, um, across the median, got me turned around going south and across traffic again. And that was because of cattle guards, which are proving to be quite a problem here too. I forgot to get a piece of plywood. Um, Shit is all I can say.
So you put a
So
piece of plywood over the cattle guards, is what you're saying, so the horse can walk across them?
yeah, you
So,
see, normally with a legal cattle guard, and these are not legal cattle guards, my horses have big enough feet that they can walk them. But if it's a homemade like thing, I won't. I will not take them through a homemade cattle guard. That's not safe because I part of it I can't tell how far things are.
right.
When I'm sitting in the wagon. So so we went down to one, turned around. I was going to stop at 5 miles, but 4.9, and I saw there was no real place to camp. It was pretty gruesome. So we just kept going another 3 miles so that we could find a place to camp. And as I said, this one is not great, but the horse is comfortable. That was really what I wanted.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
So with the police officer, what did he end up saying? He said you're okay to travel, and he went on his
Well,
way, or
he called the state patrol, and one of them said no, and one of them said yes. And so he came back, and I said, he told me that, and I said, well, we're going to just take yes, aren't we? And he kind of laughed. So I wasn't thinking. Uh, Basically, unless it's posted, an interstate is legal for me to travel on. When I say posted, it should say no motor or non-motorized vehicles, animals walked, led, driven, scooters, and things like that.
And have you run into those roads before where you had to turn around or you got stopped or anything like that? Or
Um, I was in Kelso, Washington, and I was talking to the police department, and I was coming off of a road, and the maps were not real good. And they said, "Oh, just go down this road." All of a sudden, I found myself dropping down into the third lane, in the middle lane of 3 lanes of I-5. You talk about a shocker on that one. So, and I've had in other places that happen too. Um, you just deal with it, you know. As far as turning around, no, I generally, well, what you do is you get the alarm guide or gazetteer. That's what you use as a map basis. And what I end up doing is going through the laws for each state. Now, like, I'm pretty sure Montana, I could go on the interstate. Um, I don't remember, but I know Wyoming, Colorado. Matter of fact, I've had cops tell me that I could go on the shoulder of the interstate through Denver. And it's like, no fucking way. I'll go through Denver, but I won't go on the interstate.
right.
So, but Colorado, I believe Idaho. If you get police escort, you can do most states.
Right.
But I really don't like to do that. One, it's one thing if I jeopardize my life, but it's another thing if they jeopardize their lives for something stupid and get run over.
Right.
So.
And you don't need them scaring the horses either, right?
No, that's one thing no common sense. So, and I was in Denver a few years ago, and they were having, I don't remember what it was, but some sort of, it was after the stock show. They were having a horse expo or something, and they wanted me there, and I was about 25 miles north of them. And so I had a really long day. I started at like 6 o'clock. I got the horses on the road. I had lights on that wagon. And we got down there. I drove my wagon onto the Capitol lawn, and then they got into a parade and they went down the street. But we had cops zipping down that street right next to horses going the other way, 40, 50 miles an hour. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? There's nothing you're doing that's that important, because these cops were assigned to escort us, and they were just flying by. No concept of if a horse shies. And when I started the trip, I had my dog and me. By the time I was done, I had my dog, me, and 5 or 6 people in the wagon because their horses had shied or thrown them, or for one reason or another, they couldn't walk in the parade. So I ended up picking them up because I was tail end Charlie, that's the only place I'll be in a parade. Actually, I don't do parades anymore.
But that was towards the beginning of the journey, about 16, 17 years ago, or?
No, that was that way. So that was like 2010 or something like that.
Gotcha. Okay. But overall, your first day of travel was good. I mean, you're safe and parked and fed and everything.
Very, very, very good. I'm all set for the night. Big boy has his feed in front of him. I just watered him. The only difference is it's colder than hell up here. So my jacket got soaked today, so I'm drying it out.
But you're staying.
I've got the wagon just absolutely filled with feed and water. Well, not filled, but I got 50 gallons of water, 45, 50 gallons of water on board.
And how long will that last your horse?
Probably 3 days.
Gotcha.
So that's enough time to get me to a Bridger, or there's a truck stop before it, Bridger. So I think it's 21 miles. So that's 2 more days I've got to get there.
And you've traveled on this route before, correct?
No, this is in about, I don't know how far the road is that comes in, but it's up ahead that I've traveled across.
Yeah.
I tried my absolute damnedest to not drive this road or any interstate. It's maddening. It's tiring too, because you really have to control the horse, and it's hard on the horse, especially when you're insisting that he drives exactly where you want him to. Which they should drive that way, but when you're doing long distance traveling, I can slackline them a little bit and let them have some, zigs and zags. Not a lot, but like a couple feet, within a couple feet. But on this road, I'm driving within 6 inches.
Yeah.
The entire day, and 6 inches of falling off the shoulder of the road, and not being able to get back on. So I can't. I really have to be careful.
Yeah.
So, yeehaw!
Yeehaw! Was there anything else on your mind, or anything that you're thinking of, or thought of while you were traveling today?
Oh, nice to be back going again. Just nice to be going. And I sent you some photos, and
Yes.
there's a photo of me, or of my shoes and a heater, and that's my little worshiping right now. I'm sitting in front of the heater, just trying to keep myself warm. So, yeehaw!
I see you sent me some pictures of Big Boy there as well.
Yeah, did you see the snowstorm?
I did. It looks a lot different than where I'm at, but it looks. I mean, you've got some elevation, so I can appreciate it. But you got some good pictures there, and I'm glad that you stayed safe. Especially the second picture where the horse is kind of looking back at you. I'm assuming you want the listeners to be able to see these pictures at some point, right, on the website.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wonderful.
Definitely include those.
Okay. And did you get your sign finished?
No, I woke up this morning and it was frozen, with 2 inches of snow sticking on it. So I'll get there.
Yeah.
I probably, when I get to Bridger, I'll do something.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, until you do, for those that are listening, you can find this journey at xamericabyhorse.com. Same as the YouTube
Yeehaw!
channel.
Well, actually, just the .com is my website, so that's what we use.
Yep.
So,
until next time.
Yep, I'm going to finish dinner. You have a good night.
You as well.
And I'll chat with you later, sir.
Sounds good.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw.